Kanye West, you know he was at UCLA Medical Center. We are being told that UCLA now is doing a major investigation because we're told a number of people at the medical center were going onto the computer trying to find out what was up with Kanye, and that's a problem. And we're told a number of them either have been or may well be fired.
It's a serious violation that we have seen a few times before when celebrities end up in a hospital.
Michael Jackson was at UCLA Medical Center when he died. We broke that story.
Right.
And I think afterwards there were medical personnel who were disciplined in that case.
Yeah, guys, I talked to some sources over there, and they told me that when high-profile people get admitted, they flag their files so that they can really heavily monitor who's viewing them.
Right.
And clearly there are a lot of curious people out there.
No, but your point, Evan, is that they know when somebody high-profile comes in, they want to see who's hitting the button to go into the file.
Exactly.
And we can, I should be quick to say, we are told, as far as we know at least, that they never got into his actual file. They never actually saw it, but they attempted to see it.
So this is not a case of there was a leak.
Correct.
But they saw the signs that somebody they fear was perhaps trying to leak information.
That's right.
And that in and of itself is a violation that could warrant them being fired.
That's right. And so we're hearing kind of conflicting reports on whether people have been or will be fired, but we're being told that they're investigating. UCLA is locked down tight as a drum in terms of we've contacted them numerous times, and they're just not saying anything about this. But this has become a big issue with celebrities when they check into hospitals now. I don't know if you remember this.
Britney was not the same hospital, but this was an issue with Britney.
It was a big issue with Britney Spears. It's been an issue with Brooke Mueller before. It is just an issue where you've got, and it's not always, people who want to contact, news media outlets. It's just curiosity.
It's curiosity because they want to talk to friends, who knows what it is, but they want to know, and they want to be able to go and say to someone else.
If Kanye shows up at your hospital, you want to know what's going on with him.
You do, but you also know if you're an employee at the hospital, you understand that you're violating. They know the HIPAA rules, and they know the law that they can't go looking in that unless it's their case.
I generally don't talk about this, but I'm going to just say a little about this. That one of the reasons I think TMZ has done well over the years is because we have broken a lot of stories, and people come to the site because there's something about people feeling like they're in the know, they're the first to know.
Right.
There's something satisfying about that for a lot of people. And it's the same principle here, that if they know something that others don't, there's this almost,
Yeah, I get it. You feel like if you know something before, everyone that's growing up, everyone has always wanted to know something before everybody else does.
It's cocktail party conversation, as crazy as that sounds, because
there's a line. But there's a line.
There's definitely a line, and this is a line. But again, this is not, Devin, one person. It's not two people. It's not three people.
No, I heard it could be up to 30 people, maybe more than that.
30 people, and again, I don't want to pinpoint a number, but Devin's right. We have heard that number 30. I would be shocked if it's that many, but we've heard that number, which is really crazy.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Harvey. Good afternoon, Charles. Listen, man, first of all, I really think that that's very disrespectful to just go through somebody's personal information like that, man. We all know that Kanye is going through some stuff right now, but to be digging into somebody's personal information like that is very disrespectful. Then going back to what Charles said about the HIPAA law, man, whoever did that should get that $25,000, $50,000, or $100,000 fine, because I think it's like $100,000 or $50,000 or something like that for even going through anybody's information, man. We need to just continue to pray for this guy instead of just trying to really bring him down in a bad situation like what he's going through, because he may have a really bad illness.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, well said, Chris.